The Honourable Judith Collins.
Oh, thank you, Mr Speaker. And could I start the year by saying Happy New Year to everyone, all our parliamentary colleagues and yourself. Thank you very much. I have to say, after that blistering attack from the member who's just resumed his seat, I should be feeling some trepidation, but I'm going to overcome that in the spirit of Parliament.
Look, order. I regret I'm interrupting the member, and I will start her time again, but I am meant to say this is a split speech. Oh. It's a 5-minute speech. The Honourable Judith Collins starting again.
Yes, we're splitting this with my colleague, the Honourable Maurice Williamson, which I think is so appropriate.
I'm going to mop up after the mess.
Well, we started the year quite interestingly. I think one of the great things from the speeches from the Prime Minister and the Leader of the Opposition was in the tone. And I thought that actually, you know, Mr Andrew Little's been Leader of the Labour Party for a matter of a few months, and he was doing actually okay before Christmas. And he was doing so okay that many in the media were writing him up as the next best thing, and I'm sure they thought that was he had finally found someone that they could support from Labour. And well, he was pretty much the only other person standing who hadn't put their name up for some sort of role, and the real leader of the Labour Party, the Honourable Annette King, wasn't available to take on the title. But having said that, what happened to him? He got a rush of blood to the head. And I have been wondering why he would have started talking about Maori sovereignty and getting everybody excited. And certainly in Papakura, people are concerned about this new separatist movement that he seems to be wanting to promote. And I thought, what has gone wrong with Andrew Little? Because I'm actually quite fond of him. No, I really am. I'm always fond of leaders of the opposition because I think it's a good opportunity for them to show their stripes and things. Good to do it. And I've worked it out. It's the circadian rhythms. And I didn't know about circadian rhythms until Mr Little gave his first media interview after he became Leader of the Opposition, and he was late. And he was late because he doesn't believe in alarm clocks because of his circadian rhythms. So I guess on Waitangi Day, his circadian rhythms were a bit out because he had to get up early. But I've got a bit of news for him, and that's if he wants to be leader of this country, he's going to have to work out his circadian rhythms, because you can't get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and then go and talk about Maori sovereignty and separatism and think that the people of New Zealand are going to think that's a good idea. I can tell you Papakura is just all agog with it, and I have to say I'm going to talk a bit more about that in Papakura over the next 3 years, and I think quite a few people on this side of the House are going to help Mr Little remember the circadian rhythms and why he should be focused on the things that are actually important for Kiwis. So one of the things that's really important that the Prime Minister's spoken about and that I have ad nauseum spoken and written about is the need for RMA reform. When I was practising law before even the Resource Management Act came in, oh, I know, I was a child genius. Came through. I know, Mr Speaker, you don't believe for a moment I could be that old. But yes, I was practising law even when you were first an MP. And I remember when the RMA came in, and it was almost like a light had come on. And what happened is all these town planners who were then town planners, fabulously well-experienced people, seemed to leave Auckland City, where I was dealing with a lot, and go out as consultants. And that's when we should always get concerned, when legislation leads a lot of very experienced, good, hard-working people, skilled people, to suddenly leave their jobs to become consultants. That tells us there's something going on. So when we try and set up these sorts of systems, which I think with all the best of intentions, it unfortunately has become a real muddle. I had experience just last year with getting some work done at our home in Maraetai. Many people will know about it. It's been on Campbell Live. They had a lot through my wardrobe, which I felt was mildly invasive, but there you go. And what we found is that with our little bridge that we ran, a walkway, we spent more money on resource consent than we did on building the bridge. And I think, unfortunately, that's just a little tale. But actually, that's what's happening. We need to free up land, we need to free up people to make good decisions, and we actually need to be able to have faith in our builders, in the people who are developing land. And one of the things in Auckland in particular, because that is where most of the issues are around housing, it's really about this metropolitan urban limit, which has been put in place about 15 years ago, has made it very expensive and difficult to actually get any new land brought in for housing, and it's been like that for about 10 or 15 years. That's what the developers are saying to me. Sort this stuff out, stop trying to impose limits on people, and actually have some faith in them. So thank you, Mr. Speaker.